I was 39, going through a midlife crisis, a very ordinary midlife crisis, about my very ordinary life. I had nothing to complain about. I was loved. I had an interesting job, teaching a wonderful craft. I had 2 great kids, but, well, I always thought I was special and that I would do something special. I mean, something truly substantial. If not solve world hunger or establish world peace, something of a magnitude that would move the needle. And suddenly it was clear that this was never going to happen, which was depressing and also embarrassing to think all these years I'd been carrying around this completely unfounded conviction that I was going to do great things. And as my future looked less glorious, so did my past. See, when you have this shining deed on the horizon, everything leading up to it glows with significance. But turn off that light, and the events of my life were revealed in all their banality. The voyages of discovery had been tourism. The finely honed skills were hobbies. And what about all those books I'd read? As the illusions drained away, along with them went my joy in reading. And that really hurt, because reading has always been my greatest and most dependable pleasure. I mean, ever since I was a kid, it was words, words, words. I loved the ring of them. I loved Peter Rabbit's sisters, Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail. I loved reading the vitamins on my cereal box in the morning. Niacin, thiamine, and riboflavin. And of course, words make stories. I remember one evening in particular, I was sitting in my favorite spot, hallway floor, back to the radiator, and I was reading Sans Famille, which is the story of an orphan who was sold to a traveling musician who's a stern old man. But the boy grows to love and trust him. And I get to the part where they're down on their luck and they have to sleep outdoors in a snowstorm, and the old man makes sure that the dog sleeps on the boy. And in the morning, the old man is dead. And I'm reading this, and tears are streaming down my face, and my nose is running, and I'm incredibly sad, but also amazed. Words can do that. Like these little black marks on the browning paper of that book with the cover falling off, those words had made me cry. And for a while, the people in books seemed more real to me than a lot of the people I knew. Until I understood it's because the books let you see into the characters' hearts and minds. And it was reading that taught me that all those baffling people in my life, the schoolyard bully, the girl who lied about bringing me a present, my own grumbling grandmother, they all had thoughts and feelings inside too, just like the people in books. And reading was never an escape for me. It was my path to understanding the world. Only somewhere along the line, without my noticing it, that pure love, the words can do that, that pure love had got tangled up in my delusions of destiny. So all the treasures that I found in books, the pearls of wisdom and the nuggets of facts, they were valuable because they were shaping me into that person uniquely equipped to do that special thing. But if I did nothing, I could have been reading People magazine for all that mattered to the world. It was just a question of taste, shaken or stirred, scrambled or over easy, 10 celebrity diet secrets, or Middlemarch. I didn't stop reading, but the joy was gone, and it just felt like a habit I couldn't kick. So, future, meh. Past, empty. The thing I loved the most, pointless. That was my state of mind when, as we were planning on a family road trip down the East Coast, I went to the Word bookstore and picked up an old Penguin, 2 fat volumes of War and Peace. What was I thinking? I don't know. Maybe I was doubling down. Maybe it was just a stunt. I didn't really ask myself, I just began. And the book opens, and don't worry, I won't tell you the whole story, but it opens in a palace where aristocrats are scheming to get ahead. And I'm relishing the contrast. I'm in a motel off the New Jersey Turnpike. There's diapers on the dresser, SpongeBob on TV, and I'm in the world of counts and carriages and chandeliers. And I do get very drawn into their intrigues and the complicated rules of this world. And then the story moves to a battlefield. And I thought, oh, right, of course. That palace politics, that's phony. This is life and death. And I was completely embedded in the cannons and the cavalry and the smoke and chaos of battle. And then Tolstoy moves the story to a family home. And I was, again, oh, this matters, not military posturing. This, parents and children, this is fundamental. And as the book goes on, and at this time by now I'm not just reading in the motel at night. Any minute I can squeeze in an extra page at the gas station, waiting in line for groceries, any extra downtime I'm reading. And as the book goes on, Tolstoy keeps these stories rolling in like waves. And there's love story, and there's agricultural reform, and there's drunk men with ideas. And every single one of them is essential, and then recedes as the next one moves in. And I keep reading, and we go on our trip, and we turn back, and eventually, just about the time we got back home, I get to the end of the book. And after finishing it, I noticed something odd. I couldn't remember what it was I'd been so upset about before. I mean, I could remember that I had been feeling gloom and despair and shame about not achieving great things, but I couldn't actually summon up those feelings. They felt foreign. So can I sum up the 1,000+ pages of War and Peace as, get over yourself? I did feel a whole lot less important after reading that book, but also a whole lot better about not being important. It's as if all those waves of stories had reshaped me, and I came out completely convinced that, on the one hand, nothing we do is that important. Our plans and ambitions are just insignificant little specks. But at the same time, every person matters and is worthy of compassion and attention. And it seemed obvious that I was a person among people, and that my task, like everyone else's, was to heed the people around me. Listen to my kids, encourage my students, visit my elders. And it was hard to remember ever thinking otherwise. And if that old paperback could rewire my mind, well, that gave me back my faith in books. And I could read again with pleasure and purpose. Because reading might not make me someone who could fix the world, but it could make me more deeply a part of it. Words can do that. Thanks.